My guest this week is a musician whose face you probably won't know, but whose work you certainly will, because he's played on over 40 #1 hit records. Welcome, Clem Cattini.
Good morning, nice to be here.
Good trip.
Excuse the word musician, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm a drummer.
Yeah, five musos and a drummer.
yeah, no, it was good. Yeah, good trip up, no problem at all, thank you.
So, life stories, let's talk about life stories. I always ask this question to musicians. What made you take up the drums?
I know it sounds a silly story, but I had two mates who played guitar, and we went to see Blackboard Jungle, another film, Blackboard Jungle.
Bill Haley, yeah.
We came out and they said, "Oh, let's form a rock and roll group." I went, "Yeah, all right then, what do I do?" They said, "Well, you play drums." I said, "Okay." So I did. And it's like history now. But that's how it started.
Did you have any lessons, or was it just a case of...
No, I did it all myself. I used to work for my dad, and I used to, in my breaks and lunch break and tea, I used to go upstairs into my bedroom with the Buddy Rich drum shooter and just practice. And, you know, being very lucky,
yeah.
really. So,
what was your first band?
First band was a band called Terry Kennedy's Rock and Rollers, and who was one of the guitar players, and we actually did a tour with Max Wall, because he was just at the time where Bill Haley was about, and he did a Bill Haley skit with the Kiss Girl and the tartan jacket and all that, and we backed him on this thing, and that was the first tour I ever did.
Those days, it was, I mean, it was a world apart from now, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Oh God, yeah.
I mean the sort of music, was it music halls then?
Oh yeah, it was all sort of like theatre empires and hippodromes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, then you couldn't play the same place for 9 months after you'd done it. If you did it, say, Birmingham Hip, you couldn't go back there for 9 months.
Right.
Because that's how busy everything was then.
Yeah.
And I mean, they talk about the screaming bit and the superstars. I worked with a guy called Terry Dean in the 60s, and you worked with him. We did Dublin, the Theatre Royal in Dublin, and I mean, it's like, say, Oxford Street being absolutely solid with kids outside the hotel, and they wouldn't move until he came out on the balcony and sang. So it was still going. It was going even then. This is 1958. Yeah. You know.
Obviously, there was no other sort of form of entertainment really. Then,
no.
was there,
No. I mean, it was variety shows, wasn't it? You had the singer, you had the juggler, you had the Dajo dancers and all that. You know, and the comedian. It was great.
Great days, those. You know,
absolutely.
That's sort of all the thing.
Yeah.
So one of your first bands was Johnny Kidd and the Pirates.
Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, yeah.
I played that song so many times.
Yeah.
Shaking all over.
And that was a mistake on my part, the drum bit, because everybody asked me about it. You know, I was supposed to do 1 bar fill-in to the guitar solo, and I got into this thing, and I thought, I can't get out of it. And and it ended up as 2 bars, purely by accident.
Right.
And Peter Sullivan, who produced it, said, "Oh no, keep it in." So.
Fantastic.
You know, you know yourself as a player, sometimes some of the best things you ever do is you do by mistake, and you can't repeat them, can you? You know?
Yeah. And then I see that, I mean, I've got a list of the people you've worked with here. Right. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. Telstar, you know, you worked with Joe Meek, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now, he was regarded, wasn't he regarded as like this sort of crazy, but talented guy?
Yeah, he was. I mean, he was a bit. I mean, I think it's the old bit, isn't it? You know, sort of genius teetering on the edge of madness. I think. Yeah. I mean, Joe, as far as music was concerned, he was a musical moron. And I don't mean that thing, but it's true. I mean, he didn't know the difference between a crotchet and a hatchet. You know, to be honest with you. But the thing was, Joe, sound-wise, that was amazing. The sounds that he got out of that studio. Yeah. I mean, even now when I go up there and I go, how the hell did he get this sound?
Didn't he make you take the head off your bass drum?
Oh, yeah. I used to use the bass drum case as the bass drum. I used to put the bass drum pedal up against the case, and that's what he used to record as the bass drum.
Fantastic.
I mean, all the tricks, it's, amazing. And you go into this control room, and I mean, you're lucky. I used to be lucky if you come out alive, because if you didn't, it was like going to get electrocuted, you know. But in that respect, it was amazing, you know.
Let's have a look at some of the other number ones. I mean, Walker Brothers. I loved the Walker Brothers.
Yeah.
Those, but they were very orchestral, weren't they?
They were, yeah. Well, it was all written out.
Sun Ain't Gonna Shine Anymore. Beautiful.
Yeah, that was all written out by you know, a musical director. I can't remember what it was, but you know, it was that was done at Phillips, I think.
Right. Dusty Springfield.
Oh, Dusty, yeah. And that, funnily enough, the guy that was the musical director on that was the guy that did all the arrangements for the Love Affair. Same guy.
Yes.
And that was a good. But I mean, I love Dusty.
Yeah, I met her just before she died. Actually.
Yeah.
A lovely lady.
Oh, she was. Yeah.
Tom Jones, Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh yeah. Well, I did Tom. I mean, I did Green Grass of Home.
Right.
And I didn't do. Everybody credits me with. It's not unusual. I didn't do that. It's nothing to do with me.
Right.
Not unusual.
Right.
Although there's quite a story about that, because I remember we were doing a gig somewhere. I was with a band, and we'd stopped in a transport cafe. And I always remember it, Jack's Hills Cafe on the A1. You've probably been there yourself. You know, we always used to go in there.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there having a tea and something to eat, and his manager came in, Gordon Mills, and said, "Here, Clem," he said, "come outside," because I worked with Gordon in the Larry Parnes days.
Right.
And he said, "Come and listen to this," and he played me the sort of. It's not unusual. And I went, "Geez," I said, "That's not it. I'll be surprised." Larry had Billy Fury, Marty Wilde.
That's right. Yes.
Vince Eager.
Yeah.
Dickie Pride.
Yeah.
All that lot. You know.
Right.
We used to say that because I did nearly 2 years with Parnes, with Billy, and we used to say that he had a cupboard at the side, and he'd take them off the wall and say, "Right, it's your turn. Your turn to be a star now."
Yeah. Talking of Vince, we were saying about this before. Going back a few years, I actually worked with you at the pub on the Holloway Road.
Oh yes,
where the Joe Meek Appreciation Society, and it was a benefit for Heinz, the Tornadoes.
The only bass player I know that actually played was with boxing gloves on.
Well, he was in a wheelchair that night.
Was he?
But,
yeah.
You were in the band, and I went down with a friend of mine, Sissy Stone, and we just did 2 numbers, but I ended up playing the whole night with you in the band.
The usual bit. Heinz obviously wasn't playing bass.
No. And the ironic thing was that Screaming Lord Sutch was on. And he actually died before Heinz did.
That's right, he did, yeah.
So very weird. TRex. Mark Bolan.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't realise I'd played on that until I saw Simon Napier Bell. And Simon rang me up one day. He said, "I'm going to make you a star again." I said, "What's that?" He said, "I'm putting all the TRex stuff out again." I went, "Oh, did I play on it?" He went, "Yeah." I mean, I didn't know. I've got to be honest with you. I didn't know half the stuff. You know, it's like...
It's when, if you're in a situation in the studio and you're just recording songs, if the artist's not there and there's no titles on them, you just tend to just play it, don't you?
Right.
Especially if it's written out.
That's right, exactly.
Just do what you're told.
That's it.
Producer wants exactly that, you do
exactly, yeah. And you do what they want, and the MD's written something out for you, so you do it.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the thing is, like Everlasting Love, the filling in the middle, that was written out. I mean, people say, "Oh, great filling you did." Yeah, I mean, in fairness to Keith, the MD, I played what he'd written, you know, or nearly played what he'd written.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite right, but
but in those days, I mean, you must have been going from like one studio to another during the day.
Well, it got to a stage at one stage that I had 2 kits on the go.
Right.
Like maybe it's Abbey Road, as they call it now, which always, to me, was always at EMI.
Yeah.
And then the Decca in the afternoon. So the guy would put the kit in for me for the morning session and take the other kit to Decca.
Yeah.
And then I go there, and then he'd pick the kit up and take it to Pie in the evening or something.
Yeah,
that's how it was.
Because you were sort of like nighttime sessions as well.
Everything.
Weren't they?
Oh yeah. I mean,
did you ever sleep?
Not very often. No. Most of the time, the reason was I was worried about the next day's sessions.
Yeah.
You know, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I mean, because reading-wise, I didn't know. I couldn't read a note.
I was just going to ask you that.
No.
So how did you? I mean, did you learn to read?
Yeah, I had to in the end. I
was
mean,
going to say, yeah.
The most of, in fairness, the first sessions that I did, I was covering for group drummers.
Right.
You know, like I did some Kink stuff. I did the Bassy roller stuff like that, which I was covering for them.
I played bass for them once.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good luck. And so that was a thing. Well, then I then suddenly realised they kept giving me this stuff, you know, with little birdies on telegraph poles. I went, well, what's that, you know? And I thought, well, I better do something about it. So I decided to learn. A
very, very good friend of mine always said to me, music is an aid to memory.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily rely on it, but
No.
it just helps you remember
Exactly. You probably, I don't know how you win it, but I mean, I'm glad that I learnt to busk.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, my busking skills at that time got me out of so much trouble on sessions, you know.
Yeah.
And I used to get, that's nice. I didn't write that, did I? I said, no, no, that's great, you know. So I sort of like flanneled my way through it.
43 number ones. How many number twos and number threes? That's the question.
I've got to be honest, I don't know.
Just going through the list, and you know, people. It's like it's a soundtrack to your life, isn't it? People identify times with certain tracks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Benny Hill. Ernie.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always looked at myself as a musical navvy. Instead of going digging holes, I went and made records.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but again, you see, I don't even remember the guy being there.
No.
Because I thought we did the track and he came in and he overdubbed whatever he's got to do, you know. I mean, it happened so many times.
Yeah, and a very, very good friend of mine, sadly no longer with us, Alvin Stardust.
Oh, yeah.
Jealous Guy.
Yeah.
I worked with Alvin for a few years.
And well, I knew him when he was still
Shane Fenton. Yeah.
You know, before when he had with the Fentones.
Yeah, lovely.
It was through, funnily enough, a story there, through the Fentones that we recorded Telstar. Because we recorded, I think it was The Breeze and I or something like that, and they'd done it.
Right.
And I found out because we were on tour together, and I told Joe, and I said, oh, by the way, you know, the Fentones are putting out, I think it was Breeze and I don't quite sure, anyway. And I said, you know, it's all, well, we're coming, I've got this track that I want to record anyway, which was Telstar.
Right.
But so through Shane's, the band, we did Telstar. So otherwise that'd have been released as a single, not Telstar.
Right. And it was on not long ago, a follow-up that was, it had a hook and it was really, really similar to another song.
Oh, God, yeah, Venus in Blue Jeans.
Yeah.
Oh, God. I've got to be honest, that is one record that I hated it with a passion.
Right.
It was a Globetrotter.
Well, that's right,
I hated
yeah.
it. And when because Joe came, we did it, and he said, what do you think? I didn't like it. Next thing, I know I got this stool flying through the air at me. He picked up the stool, threw it at me. Fortunately, he missed. And then it was it. It's when he said, out the studio, I don't want to go home. And that's when I walked down the stairs and he threw the tape recorder after me down the stairs, you know, because I dared to criticise that. And I still think Ride in the Wind should have been...
Very close, wasn't it?
Yes.
Very close.
Oh, and I think Ride in the Wind should have been the follow-up.
Right.
Not that one, but...
Yeah.
What do I know?
Yeah. And a guest that I had on quite recently, Russ Ballard.
Oh, Russ, lovely man.
He wrote the Hot Chocolate track, which you did.
Yes, I believe, yeah.
So
I didn't even know the title of it until you told me.
Yeah.
That's how it was. You know.
Yeah. Going down the list, René and Renata. Now he actually was the maitre d' in the restaurant.
That's right.
In Mere Green, which is in Birmingham.
That's right.
A friend of mine used to own the restaurant.
Yeah, that's right.
And then all of a sudden I used to see him in Sainsbury's actually.
Well, that's another example of I didn't know that I'd played on it.
Yeah.
It got to number one, and then I got this check from the producer because they did the video.
Yes.
And I phoned him up. I said, what's that for? He said, René and Renata's Save Your Love, whatever it's called. So I went, oh, well, did I do it? He went, yeah. And then I remembered then when he told me where I'd done it, you know, I realised I was on it.
Right.
But that's how it was.
Yeah,
well, you know what it's like, you know.
And the Wombles.
Oh, yeah.
You were a Womble.
I was indeed, yes.
Did you ever wear the suit?
Once on the top of the pops.
Right.
And it was a Christmas thing. We did Wombling Merry Christmas.
Right.
And it was great because all the girls, all they wanted to do was cuddle on Womble. It was great. It's the only time I've ever had anyone actually want to cuddle me.
Fantastic.
No, it was good.
I remember doing a gig once in a teddy bear suit, and I only got about 3 or 4 numbers in, and there was steam actually coming out of the eyes.
Yeah.
It was just so hot.
Well, it was Womble suit. Oh,
yeah, and actually, a couple of guys from Sad Cafe were Wombles. Did the tour.
That was the only thing I did. But I mean, I just did the records mainly with Mike.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoyed some of those tracks that Mike did. In fairness, they were good tracks.
They were good tracks.
You know, one I liked was Wombling. What was it? White Tie and Tails, like a little big band thing.
Yeah.
It was really nice to play. You know. He did some good tracks.
I've got down the Bee Gees. Do you do?
Yes, I did quite a lot. I did the the first album they did was
Right. So there's that Massachusetts mining
and all that,
disaster.
and all that lot, yeah. And I did quite a lot of stuff with the Bee Gees, and I did a lot of broadcasts with them.
Right.
And I got very friendly with Morris because I was working with Lulu.
I was just going to say, yeah.
and they were married.
Right.
You know, so I mean, I got a phone call 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm on the phone, the other side of the phone, crying his eyes out. She's left me. She's left me. That's when they split up. We were working a place in Southend at the time. You know. But Morris, I got on great with Morris.
So as well as doing all your sessions, you still found time to do
Yeah,
tours?
well, I made a mistake when I started doing sessions sort of the end of the 60s, beginning 61, 62, after the Joe Meek thing. I stopped doing live gigs and I realised I'd made a mistake because, you know, yourself as a player, that's where you miss it, and you know it's where you try things out.
Yeah.
You know, if you make a goof up on stage, who cares? It's gone.
It's gone.
Do it on a session.
Yeah.
You know? Apart from getting the whole trumpet section swearing at you, you know, the producer's not happy because you've probably cost them another £1,000.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. Yeah.
So
and the strings as well.
Yeah.
We don't talk about
No.
strings.
Well, that was one of my quotes, wasn't it? I don't know if when somebody asked me what I wanted in the cans. They said, "Would you like in the headphones?" I said, "Could I have the strings a bit quicker, please?" Because they're always behind, aren't they? You know.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic.
or more beer.
And I know recently, Paul Weller got you to come up and do something.
Yeah,
didn't he?
it was due to the Walker Brothers thing because he liked that and he got me in to do because he wanted the same sort of feel on the record. You know.
Right.
Nice man, very nice man.
Yeah.
Made me a cup of tea and gave me a donut.
Good lad.
Very nice. Yeah, it was a good, and a nice fat check as well.
That's it. You can't go wrong with it.
No.
And then they did a film, didn't they? About Joe Meek,
Telstar. Yeah, Telstar. Yeah.
And am I right? James Corden played you.
He played me in the film. Yeah, James. Yeah, he was all right.
But were you quite as foul-mouthed and
No. I think.
I mean, I know drummers are quite feisty.
They are. Yeah, I was quite feisty with Joe. I mean, we weren't the best of buddies. Let's put it that way.
Right.
But no, it was over the top. But you know, it's an artistic license. So
of course. Yeah.
You know, usual. I mean, I wasn't with the Outlaws, and I wasn't with Hines' group. You know.
Right.
But I suppose for continuity, they kept me as the drummer right the way through.
And you were actually in the film, weren't you?
I was the chauffeur. Yes. Yeah. I'm getting a BAFTA award for that. BAFTA award for that as best supporting actor. And I got it wrong as well. The word's wrong completely.
Oh, it doesn't matter though, does it?
No, I mean, I don't think anybody knows I was there.
No.
I mean, it was quite funny.
So what are you up to now?
I've actually packed it in.
I know you're a big Arsenal fan, aren't you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Given a nightmare, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah.
Well. And good luck to Leicester. Well done.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
all I can say.
Absolutely
I'm
fantastic.
delighted for them.
It's shaken them all up, I think.
Yes.
And you know, so you don't play anymore?
No. I mean, I haven't got the facilities at home to sort of practice. I mean, I didn't need to practice. I said I didn't need. We always need to practice, you know, but I didn't need to. I was so busy working, so I didn't have to do any practice because working was. Like I was saying, when I worked at Caesar's Palace, Luton, I might add.
Yes.
Not Dunstable. Not. And now I haven't got the facilities, and I've got a lot of arthritis in my hand and that, and I'm getting old. You know, I'm an old yesteryear's shabby rock and roll hero. So,
but
you know,
in 2016 to still be around is a lucky thing.
Absolutely. Oh yeah. I put my feet on the ground in the morning, thinking, another day, hopefully.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's been absolutely fantastic talking to you.
Thank you very much for having me here, you know.
And
I don't feel myself that important, but thank you.
Well,
anyway.
listen, the drummer's always going to be there in the band,
Yeah.
Along with the bass
The
player.
boiler
We hold it together.
We hold it together. The boiler room of the
we-
band, the
we
bass
do
and drums.
indeed.
The bass, that's the thing is, well, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you as a bass player must know what it's like if you're playing with a bad drummer.
Oh, no,
and the same as me when you're
my
playing
hands
with a
kill
bad.
me if I play with a bad drummer.
And I mean, I had that, for 9 months with Hines, you know,
Yeah.
with the boxing gloves on, so, you know. But, yeah, thank you very much for
Pleasure.
inviting me.
Clem, thank you.
My pleasure. No, my pleasure. Thank you very much.